Here are the top stories for today, September 13, 2019. Malacanang says CPP founding chair Jose Maria Sison can be extradited if the government of the Netherlands allows it. President Duterte is not dropping claims on the West Philippine Sea in exchange for undergoing joint oil exploration with China. Several provinces temporarily ban the entry of pigs and pork products from Luzon to prevent the spread of African swine fever. And Marawi City and Lanao del Sur celebrate September as the National Peace Consciousness Month.
Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Malacanang on Thursday said that the self-exiled Communist Party of the Philippines founder Jose Maria Sison can be extradited if the government of the Netherlands allow it. Sison and more than 30 individuals are currently the subject of an arrest warrant issued by the Regional Trial Court Branch 32 in Manila for their involvement in the so-called Inopacan massacre in the 80s. He dismissed the allegations as fake, noting that he and other suspects were in jail during the time of the supposed killing. He also claimed that the case was only being used to distract the public from the controversial release of almost 2,000 heinous crime convicts. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo rejected Sison's claim, saying that Sison already has a warrant, so everything he says is moot and academic.
They were given the opportunity to rebut the evidence submitted before the court, or prior to that, the preliminary investigation, prosecutors found probable cause, filed before the regional trial court, and the court finds probable cause. But until such time as he faces the music, may problema siya. He should unchain himself from that illusory dream of ousting the present dispensation. 50 years plus na yan.
The mother of a youth activist, Marawi Kaalaman, stood her ground against Kabataan Party List group who said that she is just making fake stories on how her daughter was recruited by the Progressive Youth Group. More on this from Janice Cabe.
Mrs. LV Kaalaman, who was earlier interviewed by the PNA about her missing daughter Marawi, stood firm on her account on how her daughter was brainwashed to join Kabataan Party List, headed by Representative Sara Elago. Kaalaman said nobody knows her daughter better than her. This after Kabataan Party List said she is just making fake news. Kabataan Party List also claimed that PNA is running an erroneous story as Marawi is not 16 years old when she joined the group. It also claimed that Marawi is not missing and did not quit school to be with them. According to Kabataan, the story is misleading because Marawi graduated from senior high school but did not even apply for college as she and her family were unable to process her papers to apply for university. In response, Kaalaman said though her daughter has turned 19 last July 2, she was already involved with Kabataan Party List while she was still studying in PUP as a grade 12 student. She clarified that her daughter was 16 when she started with Kabataan while still in PUP during that time, and that her daughter refused to attend school because the spirit of activism has taken over her. Contrary to Kabataan's statement that Marawi is not missing but in fact in constant communication with her, Kaalaman said she only saw her daughter at least 7 or 8 times since she left to stay at the Kabataan headquarters in October. She recalled that Marawi went home when she needed to see a dentist, when she had to turn over her crown at the barangay, and on her birthday on July 2. She had not heard of Marawi since then. Mrs. Kaalaman is a member of the newly formed League of Parents of the Philippines, who earlier petitioned the DOJ for a writ of habeas corpus against Elago to produce the minors who were recruited into progressive youth groups. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cabe.
President Rodrigo Duterte has ordered the shift to cash budgeting system to speed up the utilization of the government's 2019 fiscal plan. The cash budgeting system, which is under Executive Order Number 91, orders all authorized appropriations to be utilized until the end of each fiscal year, unlike before where it can be spent beyond the fiscal year. It also mandates that all unused appropriations at the end of the fiscal year will be reverted to the National Treasury and can no longer be used except if it is allowed by legislative enactment. Payments for obligations incurred by the government must be made until 3 months after the end of the validity of the appropriation. Appropriations covering financial subsidy to local government units must be available for obligation and disbursement until the end of the succeeding fiscal year, while appropriations for statutory shares of LGUs must be available for obligation and disbursement until fully spent. Projects with an implementation period of more than 12 months must require the issuance of a multi-year contractual authority by the DBM. The Senate hearing on Thursday revealed more anomalies in New Bilibid prison, prompting government officials and even President Duterte to keep an eye on the activities and personnel in the facility. During the Senate hearing on the hospital pass for sale scheme on Thursday, a former inmate revealed that healthy prisoners can pay to stay for several months at the NBP hospital where they conduct their illegal drug transactions. Former Valencia City Bukidnon Mayor Jose Galario Jr. said high-profile inmates were allowed to be confined at the prison's hospital for as long as 7 to 8 months by paying a considerable amount to one Dr. Urcisio Señas. Galario said he has seen inmates using cell phones inside the NBP hospital, noting that it was also Señas who allowed such contraband to be used within the premises. Señas has denied all the allegations. Senator Bongo reiterated his assurance that those responsible for those anomalies should be held accountable. Meanwhile, ACT-CIS Representative Eric Go-Yap said he is alarmed by the reported inclusion of convicted plunderer Janet Lim Napoles on the list of prisoners released because of good conduct time allowance or GCTA. Yap said he will formally file a bill that will strengthen RA 10592 and rid it of any defects or loopholes that are being used to circumvent the real spirit and intent of the law. Meanwhile, presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said President Duterte has only 2 qualifications for the next Bucor chief: honesty and competence. President Duterte earlier dismissed Bucor Chief General Nicanor Faeldon for disobeying his order. He was replaced by Bucor Assistant Secretary and Deputy Director General Melvin Ramon Buenafe as officer in charge. DOTR Secretary Arthur Tugade called out Senator Grace Poe, saying she is just politicizing the traffic problem. Meanwhile, a lawmaker is pushing for the creation of a national hospital for senior citizens. More on this from Gigi Arcilia Agtay.
The minority bloc at the House of Representatives on Thursday urged for the establishment of a national hospital that will cater to the health needs of elderlies. House Minority Leader Benny Abante Jr. said, while the country has a National Children's Hospital to address the needs of the young, it doesn't have a counterpart for the nation's close to 9 million senior citizens. Abante is pushing for the swift passage of his House Bill 3939, which seeks to convert the National Center for Geriatric Health in San Miguel, Manila, into a National Geriatric Health and Research Institute that will cater to health services for the elderly. In other news, DOTR Secretary Arthur Tugade on Friday called out Senator Grace Poe for politicizing the country's traffic woes for her supposed plans to run for higher office. In a television interview, Tugade said Poe, as chair of the Senate Committee on Public Services, uses issues in transportation as an instrument in her political campaign. She said traffic issues should not be politicized, noting that If the Senate doesn't want to give emergency powers to President Duterte to resolve the metro's traffic problem, they should be allowed to do their work as they see fit. Meanwhile, AFP Chief of Staff General Benjamin Madrigal Jr. on Wednesday said all incumbent three-star generals in the military are qualified for the Armed Forces of the Philippines top post. Madrigal, who will mandatorily retire from the service upon turning 56 on September 28, said it is up to the President to select who will be the next AFP chief. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Gigi Arcilia Agtay.
Still to come, President Duterte is not dropping claims on the West Philippine Sea in exchange for undergoing joint oil exploration with China. Several provinces temporarily banned the entry of pigs and pork products from Luzon to prevent the spread of African swine flu. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Ito ang Duterte on Duty. Ulat sa ginagawa ng Presidente.
August 27, Martes, Quezon City. Dumalo si Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte sa 31st anniversary ng Department of Agrarian Reform.
As we highlight our accomplishments and milestones in implementing CARP, let us never lose sight of the primary aim of this program, which is to uphold the welfare of the landless, farmers, promote social justice, and attain sound rural development through the equitable distribution of all agricultural lands across the country.
August 29, Huwebes. Sa official visit ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte sa China ay nagkaroon ng bilateral meeting sa pagitan ng dalawang bansa sa pangunguna ni na Pangulong Duterte at Chinese President Xi Jinping. Sinaksihan din ng dalawang leader ang pagpirma sa ilang kasunduan sa pagitan ng Pilipinas at China. August 30, Biyernes, Beijing, China. Nagkaroon din ng bilateral meeting sina Pangulong Duterte at Chinese Premier Li Keqiang. Nag-courtesy call sa Pangulo ang ilang opisyal mula sa Philippine construction industry na nasa China rin upang bumuo ng business partnerships sa kanilang Chinese counterparts. Nag-courtesy call din sa Pangulo ang mga business leaders mula sa Chinese International Chamber of Commerce for the private sector. Kasunod nito ay pinangunahan ni Pangulong Duterte ang Philippines-China Business Forum sa Grand Hyatt, Beijing.
The Philippines is one of the fastest growing economies in the region and in the world. We have grown for the past 82 consecutive quarters and recorded above 6% annual growth rate since 2012. To sustain this positive trajectory, we have embarked on a historic build program under which we welcome more Philippine-Chinese cooperation.
Nakisaya sina Pangulong Duterte at Chinese President Xi Jinping sa opening ceremony ng 2019 FIBA World Cup. August 31, Sabado, Foshan, China. Personal na pinuntahan ni Pangulong Duterte ang Gilas Pilipinas basketball team sa kanilang locker room bago magumpisa ang kanilang laban kontra Italy sa 2019 FIBA World Cup. At nanood ang Pangulo sa laban ng Gilas Pilipinas kontra Italy. Ako po si Secretary Martin Andanar at ito ang Duterte on Duty. Abangan sa susunod na linggo ang mga gagawin ng Pangulo.
President Rodrigo Duterte is not setting aside the arbitral ruling on the West Philippine Sea in favor of a joint oil and gas exploration with China. Malacanang made the clarification after former Foreign Affairs Secretary Albert Del Rosario said there was no need to ignore the ruling to give way to economic activity with China. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo explained that while the ruling is still subject to talks between the two countries, Duterte meant they will focus on the concerns that may mutually benefit them. Panelo also denied that Foreign Affairs Secretary Teddy Locsin Jr. refuted the president when he said that China has never made ignoring the arbitral ruling a prerequisite to come up with a joint exploration. Earlier, Del Rosario cited the suggestion of Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio to agree on a service contract arrangement with China to remain faithful to the arbitral ruling. The National Food and Drug Authority has been ordered to bring down rice prices to 27 pesos per kilo. Agriculture Secretary William Dar on Thursday said the NFA Council decided to flood Metro Manila markets and other key cities nationwide with imported rice. The NFA rice will be sold at 25 pesos per kilogram wholesale and 27 pesos per kilogram retail. Dar also directed the agency to increase palay support price from 17 pesos per kilo to 19 pesos. However, farmers will no longer receive incentives from selling to the NFA. Earlier, the DA chief secured the commitment of some 30 provincial governments to buy palay from their farmers directly. Dar said the Land Bank of the Philippines will launch a new loan facility to buy palay directly from their farmers. The DA is also set to forge an agreement with the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, to convert the 6,000 peso unconditional cash transfer into rice. Several provinces have banned the entry of hogs, pork, and pork products following the reported infestation of Asian swine flu in Luzon. More on this from Benjamin Doc.
The provincial government of Misamis Oriental ordered Thursday the temporary ban on the entry of pigs and various pork products from areas deemed by the Bureau of Animal Industry as having an African swine fever infestation. This after the Department of Agriculture confirmed that ASF was the cause of the swine deaths in Rizal and Bulacan last month. Governor Yevgeny Vicente Emano said the temporary ban seeks to safeguard the province's swine industry as well as to protect the general public from the ill effects of the ASF. The ban will only be lifted until the BAI declares the assurance of the safety in the swine industry. Negros Occidental, the #1 backyard swine producer in the Philippines, has also banned for 90 days the entry of all pork and pork products from Luzon. Governor Eugenio Jose Lacson has directed the Provincial ASF Task Force to carry out the proper implementation of the ASF prevention and control measures. Negros Occidental's current annual swine production for both backyard and commercial is 510,000 heads. Cebu has also banned the shipment of live pigs and pork products from Luzon in the next 100 days. Cebu Governor Gwen Garcia, however, clarified that the ban does not apply to pork products from other regions. Meantime, Garcia also said she will convene the Local Price Coordinating Council following reports that the prices of meat products in the market have increased slightly. Meanwhile, the city government of General Santos has created a task force to spearhead efforts to prevent the entry of the ASF. Dr. Antonio Efrem Marin, head of the City Veterinary Office, said they are currently coordinating with various agencies and local hog growers for the rollout of strategic measures to keep the city safe from the disease. The city government and veterinary quarantine service in Region 12 are currently jointly monitoring meat shipments entering the city. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondo.
More towns are denouncing the New People's Army and their presence in their areas. The municipal government of Tiboli in South Cotabato has declared the CPP-NPA-NDF as persona non grata. The municipality is the first in the province to declare the communist rebel movement as unwelcome. The local government of Tiboli formally presented the resolution to the public in a ceremony on Monday. Tiboli Mayor Di Butuan said that the resolution deplored the series of atrocities launched by NPA rebels in the area in the past several years. Tuan said they are currently countering the activities of NPA rebels by reaching out and bringing government services to the people, especially those in the remote areas. The municipality of Laguindingan in Misamis Oriental has also issued a resolution denouncing the alleged atrocities committed by the CPP, NPA, NDF. This is now the 5th town in the province that has declared the communist rebels as persona non grata. In the resolution, the town condemned the CPP-NPA as terrorists who are disturbing the minds of the people of northern Mindanao and the municipality. The resolution also accused the CPP-NPA of violating the international humanitarian law for attacking civilians and non-combatants. Earlier, the towns of Opol, Manticao, El Salvador, and Alubuhid also issued similar resolutions. The Cordillera region commemorates today the successful peace talks between the government and the Cordilleran rebels in 1986. Malacanang declared September 13, 2019 as special non-working holiday in commemoration of the Sipat, an indigenous practice of forging peace pacts among Cordillera tribes. The Sipat was done between former President Corazon Aquino and the Cordillera People's Liberation Army, led by former rebel priest Conrado Balueg in Bauco Mountain Province. The 1986 Mount Data Sipat Agreement is the first peace agreement successfully entered into the government during Aquino's administration. It led to the issuance of Executive Order Number 220, which created the Cordillera Administrative Region, or CAR. Up next, the PCOO and Philippine Information Agency launch a media information literacy drive in Calabarzon. Marawi City and Lanao del Sur celebrate September as the National Peace Consciousness Month. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Ang planning po namin dito very strategic. Yung Athletes Village na to is very close. Walking distance, I would say it's only about 3 to 5 minutes away from the stadium and 10 minutes away from the aquatic center. Imagine that kind of convenience na hindi mo makikita elsewhere. So whatever advantage we can get, we will do it. Generally, we are a very competitive country. We are very talented. Kaya lang nasasayang yan. So, bakit hindi natin gumawa na lang ng mga facilities para nandito sila? Ma-enhance yung skills nito. Ma-tap yung talents na yan. So, kami, in our own way, in the Basis Conversion and Development Authority, in coordination with the Philippine Sports Commission, the Philippine Olympic Committee, at saka ng tulong ng pangunguna ng Duterte administration, we are trying to make the rebirth of Philippine sports again.
With 70% of the youth captivated by the internet, the Presidential Communications Operations Office, through the Philippine Information Agency, launched on Wednesday a media and information literacy campaign in the Calabarzon region. PIA Calabarzon head Maria Cristina Arzadon said the campaign, dubbed as #CyberReady, seeks to provide safe digital spaces for the youth by eliminating disinformation. Arzadon said the project aims to turn social media users, especially the ASEAN youth, into smart and responsible users and producers of online information. The UP College of Mass Communication Foundation participated in the event by presenting online videos which show the improper use of social media like disinformation, fake news, cyberbullying, online scams, and child pornography. The project is part of the ASEAN-Japan Media and Information Literacy for the Youth and supported by the ASEAN and the Infocom Media Development Authority of Singapore. And in our foreign news, the United States has recorded more than 450 people sickened and at least 6 killed in an outbreak of vaping-related lung diseases. The U.S. Health and Human Services said the Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, will finalize a policy in the coming weeks that would clear the market of unauthorized non-tobacco flavored e-cigarette products. E-cigarettes have been embraced as a less harmful alternative to smoking, but all-time high youth vaping in the country has prompted calls for action to stem their use. This and the rise in the number of vaping-related deaths and illnesses worsened long-standing concerns about the risk of using e-cigarette products. In June, San Francisco became the first U.S. city to ban e-cigarette sales. Last week, Michigan became the first U.S. state to ban flavored vaping products. The city government of Lapu-Lapu in Cebu is ready to take a major role in commemorating the 500th year of the victory of Mactan. The LGU has formed the Mactan Quincentennial Committee, or MQC, with the induction of its members at the Lapu-Lapu City Hall on Thursday. Mayor Junard Chan said he organized the MQC to assist the National Quincentennial Committee to prepare for the 500th commemoration of the Battle of Mactan. Chan said many of the events in the anniversary will be done in the Liberty Shrine, better known locally as Mactan Shrine or the Lapu-Lapu Shrine. These smaller events will drum up towards the main event on April 27, 2021. The mayor said the residents can expect a lot of activities and programs that will eventually tap barangay officials, the hotels and restaurants, the students, the youth, the local historians, and different stakeholders on the island and in Cebu. Lanao del Sur commemorates National Peace Consciousness Month this September. Task Force Bangon Marawi calls on Marawi City and other LGUs to work together to ensure lasting peace. Sweet Lukman has the story.
Residents and stakeholders, together with those from other municipalities of Lanao del Sur, gathered at the provincial capital to join the observance of the National Peace Consciousness Month. A number of peace activities have been lined up, such as Ride and Bike for Peace, peace mural painting in Lanao del Sur public schools, intrafaith dialogue, trade fair, peace education, peace forum, Supreme Student Government Summit, information and serbisyo caravan, and Kawiyagan. This celebration will serve as guidance in order to be united and progressive, said TFBM Deputy Field Office Manager Antonio Sugarol. Sugarol also urged the residents and stakeholders to continue to work together in one direction so that lasting peace and sustained progress in Lanao del Sur will reign. Meanwhile, Lanao del Sur Governor Mamintal Adjong Jr. urged them to work hard in achieving peace. The series of events are spearheaded by Task Force Bangon Marawi, Lanao del Sur Provincial Government, Marawi City Government, Office of the Presidential Advisor on Peace Process, 12th Civil Military Operations Battalion and 103rd Infantry Brigade of the Philippine Army, Local Government of Butig, Department of Trade and Industry, Philippine National Police, Department of Education, Bangon Marawi Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Philippine Information Agency. Sweet Lukman of PIA ICCC for the Nation.
Let's check out the weather forecast from Pag-asa. Tropical depression Marilyn is said to be slowing down while it moves northwestward. It is moving northwest at 10 kilometers per hour with maximum sustained winds of 55 kilometers per hour near the center and gustiness of up to 70 kilometers per hour. Marilyn is less likely to make landfall in the country tonight until tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, Palawan, Western Visayas, Zamboanga Peninsula, and Bangsamoro will experience frequent light to moderate with occasional heavy rains today until tomorrow morning. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories.
Malacanang says CPP founding chair Jose Maria Sison can be extradited if the government of the Netherlands allows it. President Duterte is not dropping claims on the West Philippine Sea in exchange for undergoing joint oil exploration with China. Several provinces temporarily ban the entry of pigs and pork products from Luzon to prevent the spread of African swine fever. And Marawi City and Lanao del Sur celebrate September as the National Peace Consciousness Month.
Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And before we close for the weekend, just a reminder, many people put a lot of premium on intelligence, but remember, attitude is more important than intelligence because it is with attitude that we use to get along with people. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day.